Assalamualaikum, my name is Zulaika binti Sulamini. I will present company background and competent person background. Company background. Time.com Berhad is an investment holding company. Time offers management, marketing, and promotional services in addition to selling telecommunications equipment at retail. In Malaysia, Time is a provider of fixed line networks and services. Time was founded in 1996 and is based in Shah Alam, Selangor, Malaysia. The company is listed on Bursa Malaysia under the main market. Time.com Berhad's main activities are wire telecommunications, carriers at the management of companies and enterprises. Time provides global cloud services housed in their safe, carrier natural data centers with the vision to become a regional cloud business. Time also serves as a conduit between multinational corporations and their Southeast Asian target markets. Moreover, Time began with a goal of connecting Malaysians to the rest of the world more than 20 years ago. Since then, they have developed a reputation for providing its clients with cutting-edge solutions, groundbreaking product lines, and transparency. Lastly, Time.com Berhad dedicated to sustainability as connections. They are aware that they are a vital component of the economic, environmental, and social, or EES, sphere of life. Time will keep constructing a sustainable future for its workers, clients, partners, and the entire globe under the direction of EES and its core principles. Competent person background. Mr. Satish Nair Kumar is the competent person for Principal, Health, Safety and Environment for Time.com Berhad. He also has two additional roles, which are Team Lead Business Continuity Planner and Waste Management. Mr. Satish Nair Kumar's career adventure begins with the data center industry. His employment was based solely on trust and not expertise. He exposed to key business operations and data center business tasks, as well as customer service management. He suffered at first, but with the help of super leader, he was able to overcome the difficulties and was offered another fantastic chance to manage an approximately 12,000 square foot data hall based on operation handling and facility management. A comparable but more significant opportunity presented itself, exposing him to project coordination and sub-service delivery on top of operations management. After over 10 years of expertise in data center operations, safety and health, there is yet another alternative method inside the same firm. Despite having no prior experience, the journey began with much excitement. He was given the chance by the management, who also provided him with training and guidance. It was not a simple drive, and in contrast to data center operations, these had to carefully manage projects worth millions that were high risk. It allowed him to improve, and he obtained expertise and accomplishment as a safety, health, and health advisor with a demonstrated track record of fostering an ideal safety and health culture in industrial settings from scratch. The extent of Mr. Satish's proficiency with process and procedures was put to the test. He started to recognize and improvise primary and substandard process while resolving safety concerns by best practices for the sector. He was given additional responsibility in the business continuity management function as business continuity planner and team lead. Due to his effective advisory plans and programs and enthusiasm for building process and procedures. That's all from me. Next, I will pass to my group mate.
I will talk about overview of selected job. So planning of higher activities. The situation when there is a risk that appears to constitute a danger when it's unclear if the control in place are sufficient before putting any corrective or preventative measure in place. The organization wants to keep improving its social management system. So why does higher need to be conducted by a competent person? When the risk rating is too high, potential risk control will be carefully considered and appropriate risk control will be implemented before the work is started. The head of division will give written consent for the job to begin when no further risk control are practical and it's determined that the task is necessary for university. So Mr. Satish, as an advisor of his safety, also must carry out a risk assessment of the hazard, taking into consideration the hazard in its consent to gain a deeper understanding of the risk, enable employees to plan, introduce, and monitor preventative measures to ensure that the risks are adequately controlled at all times, such as people, place, and process.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Aiman Haikal. Today, I want to share with you about risk identification that has four points. Okay, we start with fall damage. Fall damage, as an illustration, workers frequently install several wires, various head on large power poles. To ensure that the wires are properly installed, they must use a ladder. They may fall from the ladder they climb onto, which is a risk for this type of employment. Next, we start with electricity. Without dealing with power, the telecommunications sector cannot exist. Electricity is the one of many things that cannot be ignored. Thus, those who must work with always use caution. If employees want to use power outdoors, they had to keep an eye on the weather and follow the safety officers' instructions. They face the danger of being burned and electrocuted when performing this sort of tasks. Moreover, equipment defect. For instance, if employees want to do their job properly, they would need a lot of power, tools, and other equipment to make the process easier. However, if the personnel carry out their duties without wearing the appropriate PPE, the equipment may include an infinite number of risks, and any mistake they might cause minor or significant injuries. Okay, we move to the final part. structural deterioration. People around will be impaired if the employee did not post a warning sign, making it appear as though they are unaware of the dangers there. As an illustration, an accident is one of the hazards that will occur, and it has the potential to result in deadly casualties.
Assalamualaikum to Dr. Siti Nur Zahira. My name is Muhammad Rahman Berani. Today I will present about company time, my part which is risk assessment. Based on our interview with Mr. Satesh Kumar, the safety manager of Time.com Berhad, a telecommunication business, he gave us a true explanation of the processes he took to evaluate the dangers he could detect in the business and from the personnel. He also gave us example of risk assessment he had conducted over the previous few years while employed by the company. The initial step is to determine the risk. Anything that might harm the workers and others around them will be investigated by Mr. Satesh and his team. One of the dangers he highlighted was his staff member installing internet wires while working at any height. Many cable needs to be installed when working for a telecommunication business, and it helps to know that many of these cables are installed at very tall posts. Mr. Satesh can easily identify that specific danger according to his background in the company. He is aware of the need of taking preventative safety measures in this situation and the serious harm that might result for the workers if they ignore the warning while doing the task. The second phase, which is identifying the risk, is figuring out who could get hurt and how. He warned us about the risk associated with using electrical equipment in the office for this specific procedure. He worries that the employees may be in danger at any time because of the open design of the office. He had to ensure that most of the office equipment, including the extension plug outlets, did not result in a power to surge. To prevent any risk to the environment, he established rules about the maximum voltage that may be utilized by each employee. The third phase is to assess the risk and take appropriate action. On this, when there has been a lot of thunder and lightning, the workplace may experience power surge. Mr. Satish made sure that everyone in the company will be ready and prepared for safeguards when the unpredictable date arrives. On top of that, during these wait days, staff are assigned to install modems or hang cables in locations outside of the building. Mr. Satesh is unable to control these employees when they are outside of the office during these unplanned occurrences, but he can predict the threats that they may encounter. For this worker to handle unpredictable circumstances, he has written well charts of instruction on what to do and what not to do when they are outside of the office. The fourth stage was to record the discoveries in a journal. Safety is highly important to Mr. Satesh, especially when it concerns the life of the employees. He managed to it that the group his supervisors kept track of their study findings. By doing this, he and his team may indicate any risk found during the risk assessment as well as any action done to reduce or remove to the risk. The documents and discoveries are also used as proof that the evaluation was finished and as a basis for a later review of working procedures. Mr. Satish added that the risk assessment is still a work in progress and that it should be easily readable by him and his team rather than be stored out of sight. Examining the risk assessment is the final stage for the risk assessment to be effective according to Mr. Satish. They must be evaluated often. Additionally, it makes sure that any new working procedures, new practices, or more challenging work objectives are taken into consideration and that agreed upon safe working practices are followed. For instance, that supervisor and line manager follow management safety instruction. And that's all from me. Thank you.
For the last one is risk control to minimize hazard. There are 4 risk control to minimize hazard that given by Mr. Satish throughout the interview session, which are eliminate, substitution, personal protective equipment, and also administrative controls. First of all, eliminating risk is one of the components that may be used in risk control methods. It is the best control strategy that we can employ to entirely remove risk from the work. The Time.com Berhad firm like to utilize a crane while laying fiber optic wires inside a customer's home because if a worker falls from a height, such as when erecting cable poles, serious injuries might result. In this case, Mr. Satish implements the idea of reducing risk at height by employing extended tools like crane rather than conventional ladders. The next one is substitution. Mr. Satish took action to reduce the risk by putting together the documentation to request the replacement of outdated equipment. This is due to the increased risk of installation damage for equipment that has been in service for a long time that can be causes of a lot of tragedies. For instance, the machinery used to cut cable needs to be in good working order. It is because electricity will be involved in the process, and if the cable is challenging to cut, it might result in worker hazards. The third one is personal protective equipment. As a technician who always carry out the installation outside, Mr. Satish emphasized the need to always wear personal protective gear. Therefore, the Time.com Berhad company has provides gloves, food safety, head protections, and also body protections. Hard helmets are also have been provided for circumstances where tools or materials might fall from the ceiling. Last but not least, administrative controls. Mr. Satish continued by pointing out that it is crucial to post signboards informing people in the area when working outside. So, to prevent accidents while Time.com is working on the installations, they must put up signs on the highway. After then, Mr. Satish also gave the go-ahead for employees to take the necessary actions and follow the protocol's instructions to prevent accidents from happening in inclement weather such as lightning rain, because sometimes the weather is too bad and the workers who undertake installation work outside must quickly stop. To sum up, dealing with the problems of workplace safety is quite challenging. Any risk that develops at work needs to be noticed, tracked, and also minimized. The potential of a hazard must be determined by a variety of procedures. HIRAC primary goals is to determine if the present controls are adequate. The HIRAC research is essential for boosting a facility's security. Therefore, the methods of risk management employed in this HIRAC investigation can increase the security of any site-related activities. Because of the study, any risk can arise from labor activities in the region can be handled and decreased. Since newly introduced work processes and altered work arrangement may produce new risks and call for a review of previous risk assessments, every safety and health professional must work closely with management and remain up to date on these matters. Last but not least, they also should proactively and methodically identify potential hazards while performing occupational safety and health risk assessments.